Hello, good day and welcome back to my channel. My name is Oluwatosin. In case you're coming across this channel for the first time, and to all my returning subscribers, thank you so much for always coming back to watch my videos. So in today's video, we are going to be learning how to cut and sew a 12 pieces blouse, and this pattern paper measures, a full length is 23 plus 2 inches. Then our hip is 36 divided by 4 gives me 9. Then I added 4 inches allowance. Then I went ahead to mark out our shoulder to nipple with ½ inch, shoulder to our under bust with ½ inch, and then a half length with ½ inch allowance. Then a nipple to nipple divided by 2 plus ½ inch allowance as well. So the next is from the nipple to nipple line, measure 2 inches forward and connect the line up from the half length to our under bust. I mean from the half length to a shoulder to under bust line. And you know what I considered before bringing out the quantity of this pattern paper was a hip plus 4 inches. So proceed to considering a bust. This person's bust is 33 divided by 4. Then you add 3½ inches. Wherever the marking is where you are going to connect. Like is where you are going to connect the cup to on the shoulder line. So just go ahead to draw a cup from, you can always use your curved ruler. If not, you can as well use your free hand. I'm going to be using my free hand. So just draw a cup from that point, touching the shoulder to nipple line, and then coming down to shoulder to under our bust line. So the next thing you are going to do is on the cup, on that line of the cup, just come down with 4 inches, and on that point of 4 inches, go forward with 1 inch, mark backward with 1 inch, and then look for a way to connect that into the original cup that you have drawn. So the next thing you are going to do is to mark out a shoulder line. This person's shoulder is 15. I divided by 2, it gives me 7.5, and at this point I'm going to be adding 3 inches allowance, not ½ inch allowance, to our shoulder line. So shoulder divided by 2 plus 3 inches, and then a armhole, I used 6 at this point. I'm just going to go ahead to connect the armhole curve. You can always use your curved ruler, don't forget, but I just decided to use my free hand. So the next thing you are going to do is that 2 inches that you marked on the half length line, just go ahead to mark it downward like 2 or 3 points, and then you pick up a straight ruler and turn that and connect that into a straight line. So at this point, I'm not going to be removing the neckline, or I'm not going to be shaping it at this point. I'm going to cut out my fabric first. I'm going to join before I proceed to removing the neckline and then shaping it. So you remember we said we are cutting a 12 pieces blouse. That means the front has to be 6 pieces, and this is 2 pieces. So from that point, just mark 2 or 2½ inches forward and connect it just the way I connected it. You see the way I drew the line is not straight. Like at the upper part, at the middle part is 2 inches, and then at the down is 2½. Just connect it like that, and then go ahead to cut it out. Now I have 6 pieces for front, then we are going to cut 6 pieces for back as well. Just make sure you label. You know I'm saying 6 pieces because this is on fold of 2, so just label 1 2 3 so that you are not going to mix it up when it's time for you to transfer it to the main fabric. So for the back panel, the same measurement, length of 23 plus 2½ plus 2 inches, and the width is still a hip divided by 4 plus 4 inches. Then I went ahead to mark out a half length plus ½ inch, then 1½ inches as the zipper allowance. The next thing is to mark out a shoulder line. Divided by 2 gives me 7½. Don't forget, at this stage I'm adding 3 inches allowance to the shoulder, not half. So a armhole is 6. Then I went ahead to, a armhole originally is 16, which is supposed to be 8, but at this point I'm using 6. When I'm shaping it on the main fabric, I'm going to use 8 that I'm supposed to use. Then I went ahead to mark a nipple to nipple plus ½ inch. Then I measured 4 inches downward from the top of my pattern paper, and then I connected it. I've succeeded in marking out the pieces now. Like it's just as if when you're marking out a princess dart. So just go ahead to cut that out, bring back the number 3 from the front panel, and then just place it on the back panel towards the shaping side, and go ahead to cut it out. I've succeeded in having 6 pieces for the back panel as well, and then you mark it as 1, 2, 3 so you don't mix it up. It is now time for us to transfer all of this to our main fabric, and we are going to be using this Ankara. So for number 1, that's the center, the middle, this the center piece, I'm going to be extending. I'm going to be adding 5 inches extension to make the fillet, like the pieces. And if the person you are cutting it for is like somebody that has big tummy or pregnant, you should start your extension from our shoulder to under our bust line. But if the person is a slim person with flat tummy, just start your extension from a half length. So in this case, I'll be starting from a half length. And for number 1, I mean for pattern paper number 1, that's the center middle, I'll be adding 5 inches extension. For number 2, I'll be adding 2 inches extension on both sides. And for number 3, I'll be adding 5 and 2 inches extension. You understand what I mean as I go. So now, you know, there's going to be joining at the middle. So I added the allowance that I'm going to use to join it. That's why I shifted my pattern paper forward a little. Then I went ahead to mark 5 inches forward. And from the half length, I connected it to the 5 inches. And then I added half inches allowance for joining it to pattern paper number 2. I hope you guys get what I'm saying, and I went ahead to cut that out. This is number 2. Now I'm going to be extending it with 2 inches forward and 2 inches backward, not 5 inches like I did for number 1. So I'm going to be extending that outside as well from the half length line. From the half length, I'm going to be extending it out on both sides by 2 inches, and then I'll proceed to cutting it out. I'm going to add half-inch allowance as well at the upper part for joining it to pattern number 3 and to pattern number 1 when it's time for me to join. So I'll just go ahead to cut that out. So the next thing I'll be doing is for pattern number 3 now. Towards the shaping side, I'm going to be adding 5 inches extension, and towards the side I'm going to use to join it to number 2, I'm just going to add 2 inches. And from my half length, I'm going to connect that to my half length on both sides and just go ahead to cut it out. I hope that what I'm saying is clear, guys. So after cutting it out, basically we are done with the front pattern. This is what we have after cutting on the main fabric. This is pattern. This is front panel 1, front panel 2, and front panel 3. And hope you know that we have two pieces for each number. We have two pieces. That's for the both sides of the front. So after joining, the fillet is going to be very, very full. So we'll have something looking like this. For the back panel now, for panel 1 at the back, that's the middle, I'm going to be extending my hand with 5 inches. For panel 2, I'm going to be adding 2 inches on both sides, just like we did for the front panel. And then for panel 3, I'm going to be adding 5 inches towards the shaping side and 2 inches towards the side that I'm going to use to join it to number 2. Then from my half length, I'll connect it together and then go ahead to cut it out. So this is what I have after cutting for the 3 panels for the back panel as well. This is what I have. The fillet for these 12 pieces is going to be very, very full. I proceeded to cutting lining. It's basically the same thing. Just place it on lining. Make sure it's 1 inch shorter than the main fabric, and that is it. I cut lining for front and back, and this is the sleeve. I went ahead to cut fillet that I'm going to use to sew the puff for the sleeve as well. But because I don't want this video to be too lengthy, I'm going to be uploading how I'll join this together and sew it into a complete blouse in my next video. I'm already joining it here. So this is what the front panel is looking like after joining. If you are interested in seeing the whole of this video, watch out for my next video, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you've not. Give this video a thumbs up. If you have any question, don't forget to ask me in the comment section. So this is the front panel after joining. If you're interested, it's going to have you. If you're interested in seeing how I'm going to couple and join this together, please watch out for my next video after this one. Thank you so much for your support towards the growth of my channel. I really, really appreciate it, and I don't take it for granted. I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.